this guy up. Anybody have questions right now? Ready to go? Yes.
I do. For on the practice test, I'm pretty sure it's B, where it says negative 2/3 cubed. I just had a quick question, or like just a basic run through of that, because like when you do it, you just multiply all these.
Yeah.
Common denominators.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure you got that though.
It will.
What's 2 times 2 times 2?
2 times 2 is
8. And negative times negative times negative is negative.
Ah, okay. I understand. Thank you.
So the way you do the shortcut to doing something like this is just to cube the top and the bottom. Because what am I cubing? This and this, both of them. They're both in there, right? The top's in there, the bottom's in there, so I'm going to cube both of them. Now, really what's behind all this is how do you cube anything? You write it 3 times and multiply those. That's what the third power means, right? 3 that multiply. Cool. So then you just multiply on top, multiply on the bottom. You're done. Okay.
So the common denominator doesn't stay 3. You
Huh?
have to multiply all across. Does it stay 3?
Does not stay 3 in the bottom.
That was
Because 3 times 3 times 3 is not 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah.
So when you multiply and divide, you need an LCD. Guys, when you multiply and divide, you need an LCD. Hell no. You just multiply. So up there, on the top I get negative 8, on the bottom I get 27. Because that's what 3 times 3 times 3 is. I say so. Well, my restaurant exists.
Use email on the internets. And on the internets.
No, don't save my password down. Alright, let's see, let me pull this up. Don't worry, I'll switch it over in a minute. You all will see my emails on my internets. Okay. So this is roughly, in the email I told you the actual test will definitely not be as long as this is.
Can we short?
Yes. That was the purpose of that. But we had a lot of stuff, so just throw it there. I'm not going to tell you exactly which concepts will be on the test or not. It could be any of these.
Could be.
But so this whole first problem is really just from the review sections, right? It's got dealing with fractions. It's got order operations kind of stuff. Right, so the first problem is basically chapter 1 review. And then we start getting at chapter 2 with solving equations, solving inequalities. I'll tell you this, which one is not going to be on the test? Here's some like translation into Mathish from English, word problems. There won't be 4 word problems on the test, but I just want to give you enough practice on the practice test. Some more solving equations with a bunch of letters in them, and then graphing stuff. So number 11, that's the one that won't be on it. That'll be on the next test. That's number 11 is section 3-4. I'll go ahead and put 3-4 on the next test. Right? You're like, if I'm you, I'm like, yeah, there's plenty already without 3-4. Yeah. It's a video on this test, Jeff. And our class is an hour and 15 minutes long. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. Okay, so if you want me to go to a specific section, I can go there. How many of you guys printed this out for yourself? Anybody? 1, 2, okay. How many people got it and sort of looked at it and went, oh yeah, it's a lot of stuff we talked about. All right. I think it will swing over if you want it. Somehow, I don't know how. These things are weird. All right. Yeah.
Can we go over some of the word problems?
Yeah.
A little bit of trouble with those.
Okay. So, any type of word problem you want to talk about, or?
Honestly, to be honest, I just kind of I've had trouble with like translating the equation basically.
Gotcha. So just the most important.
Exactly.
I know we're not doing 3.4, but in the book we were doing a problem yesterday. It said on February 1st, and then the problem went through February 7th, and we decided that was 6 days. So is that 6 or would that be 7 days?
Think about it. So how many days? So that's a weird one. So on February 1st there was something happening, right?
Yes.
So 1 day later would be the 2nd, wouldn't it?
Yes.
There you go. So then how many days later to get the 7th? 6 days later. Yeah, so you're good. You're good. If you think too much about it, I totally understand it.
You were like thinking about that for like.
But if I'm like, what's 1 day later than right now, this time tomorrow, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not, you don't even have, I think part of it is you're worried, do I include that day or do I
So it's
not
like
include that day?
in
Do I
between
include the
days
last
is
day?
one.
Yeah, but if you just give yourself an example like we just did, you realize, okay, that's, just take the difference and you're golden. I like it. Kind of matches with, some of you guys know where that's headed. 3-4 is like the immediate precursor to slow, right? So we just take the difference between the two. Yeah. Okay, so I got a question about word problems and any kind of word problem. So let's do a percentage word problem because that really tripped us up. Let's say I pay $40 for a pair of pants. That included a 7% tax. Okay, cool, right? How much do the pants cost by themselves? If anybody... Now watch, this is the correct way to look at it. I cannot take 7% of 40 subtract. We talked all about why that can't work. Because nowhere would I take 7% of 40. I wouldn't even know 40. What did I take 7% of to get to $40? And what's X? The original price. So if I knew the original price, and we do, this is the crazy thing about algebra. We pretend like we know. Of course I know what the original price was. Exactly X dollars. Right? And the reason we kind of sound insane is if I do that, I can now work with it as if it was a number. Because that's what X is. It's a number I don't know yet. So I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to pay X bucks and leave. I got to pay 40. So what goes into making that $40? Well, the jeans. I got to pay for the jeans. And I got to pay for what? The tax. 7% of X. This is how you do any markup, like adding a tip on top of a thing or adding tax. If it was a discount, discounted by 7%, then I would do minus here. Because I'd be taking money away from how much you got to pay. Which makes sense. And then how do I finish this shit out?
Why'd you put the 0.7 with max again?
Oh, okay. So let's say I knew the jeans cost $30.
Yes.
How much am I going to pay if there's a 7% tax?
Oh, okay.
I would do 7% of 30 and then add it on top. 7% of what it was, added to what it was, gives me what it is. I like it. So 7% of 40 wouldn't make any damn sense because 7% had to work with something else to make the 40 show up in the first place. And now, I'm sorry, you guys started telling me how to do this. What's X plus 0.07X?
You would add a 1x.
And then just divide by 1.07, and whatever that is. All right, what's another way to write 1? 1.0. What's another way to write 1? 1.00. What's 1.00 plus 0.07? 1.07. What's $1 plus 7 cents? $1.07. Right, so that's really what's happening. Yes. So if it was X minus, like it was a 7% discount, what's X minus 0.07X? What's a buck minus 7 cents? What's a buck minus 7 cents? So 0.93, because it's 93 cents, right? A whole thing plus or minus point something is going to be 1 point or 0.9 or whatever it is. I mean, that's, to me, I look at this as 100 minus 7. Because I realize the decimal is just kind of an arbitrary place that we chose to put it there. So it's 100 minus 7, which is, or 100 plus 7 in this case, so 107. And then I put the decimal back where it's supposed to be for this problem.
So if they don't give us X, it goes over
They didn't give me X. What's 100? Oh, I see. What is known to be right here? A 1. How else could I write 1? 1.00. That's how I add or subtract from 1 or to 1, is to write 1.00, right?
It just looked confusing because it looked like they were unlike terms because of where the decimal place is in front of the point of seven.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they look that way, but numbers, we can line those decimals up. Yeah, there's a bunch of zeros after there I can use if I need to, right? Okay, I like it. So that is a good thing to get over with these kind of problems. It sucks to be able to set up the equation and go, I have no idea what this is going to do with this shit, but it really is just 1.07. That's beautiful. Okay. Is that decent? And what is 40 divided by 1.07? Anybody do that?
37.38, and then, 37.38.
37.38?
Yeah.
How do you check that? What's 7% of that? Somebody do 37.38 times 0.07. And if you add 2.61 to 37.38, you get 39.99, which is basically $40. You guys see how I did that? I got the tax, added on to the price of the jeans, should give me the total amount it costs to get out the store with my jeans. I like it. Don't know how much these cost. Okay. Another kind of word problem. Let me think. Oh, another kind of percentage problem that gives people trouble for some reason is like if I said I have completed 20% of my credits. I need a total of 60 credits. How much have I done so far? This is not like this at all. This is so much more direct. This one was harder because I didn't know where I started. So this is what like classic algebra is working backwards. This, I need a total of 60. I've completed 20% of that. So what do I do for this? Yeah. 60 times 0.2. 20% of 60. There's a problem like that in the book that everybody tried to make look like this. That's not the same kind of problem. That's a much more direct. There's not some original thing I don't know. When I came in, they told me to complete 60. Okay. I've gotten 20% of that 60 done. All right, there's no unknown. I can just do that percentage and figure out how much I've done. Maybe. So this is very different percentage problem than that. So what kind of word problems we got? We got percentage word problems. We got the geometrical word problems, like the angles in a triangle or the sides of a rectangle. Right, want to create a rectangular plot, a rectangular pen for my potbelly pig or something. Right. That kind of problem? I don't know. It's up to you guys. I'm throwing stuff out there, seeing if anybody wants to do any of these. What is that? Oh, I forgot. It's either Java or Acrobat. DC doesn't do more. Oh man, he doesn't like to develop its characters. Sorry. Some of you guys are like, I don't give a shit. So do you guys want to do another word problem kind of thing, or do you have a specific question? Like a word problem question?
No, it's graphic.
Let's stick with word problems for a minute, and then I'll come back to graphic.
On the practice test, 5B.
Okay. It was successful. Okay. 5B, here we go. This one at the top. Oh, the one with the triangle. Angle stuff. What's true about all the angles in a triangle? Yes. So this is 5B on the practice test. What's the very first thing I do? I love it, so I can make a little triangle. I want one a little bigger. Yeah, we're going to put stuff in there. Okay. Huh? Label them. I like it. At the same time, I label them. Well, how do you mean label them? On the picture. Good. I got a smallest angle. What else? I got a largest angle, and then there's one that you skipped at the beginning. Yeah. Well, what specifically do I call it? One angle. Because even if it doesn't make sense when you write it down, you use the exact same names so that you can see where things are coming from. You don't want to go to angle ABC and then like, what was B? What was no, use the exact same words. Which one is going to be just a letter? Which one
The smallest.
do the other two depend on? Smallest. One angle is 3 more than twice. The largest is 3 less than 6 times the smallest. I've got to know the smallest one first. So what do you want to call it? Let's not call it S. My S's look like my 5s. And they both don't look right. Huh? Sure. So we'll call the smallest one X. So then what's the one angle? Beautiful. 3 more than twice that. How do I write that? 3 more than twice this. By the way, if you're almost never, when you have a situation where nobody is just X. Some people were doing stuff like putting a 2X here and then just an X here. The one angle's not double anything, right? The smallest angle's not double anything. There will always be the one that is just the letter.
I'm sure this has probably been answered already, but if you were to write 3 plus 2x, that'd be
Same
incorrect.
thing.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
same thing?
addition is
Okay,
commutative.
that's what I
I
was
can
asking, yeah.
change that around.
Okay, yeah.
I just like to do this because then the subtraction
Yeah.
kind of works the same way. The largest is 3 less than 6 times the smallest. Yeah, 6 times the smallest, and then 3 less than that. Kick ass. And like you said earlier, all those have to add up to 180. If you skip this step and you know who you are, normally I would get this. The first sentence said this here, right? And then they'll just say equals 180. And then I'll say this one angle is 180. So nobody else can exist because that one angle that doesn't make any, then it's not a triangle. How could it be? It's just a straight line then. Right? If I make this become 180, this kind of disappears. It's just a straight line then. Right? Not a good triangle. Or some of you guys on your quizzes or did I do a quiz with a word problem yet? What was that last word problem on that last quiz? Wasn't there a word problem? Yes. Oh, it was Frodo and Sam and all that kind of stuff, or whatever you had. Yeah. Yeah. So some people were saying, when you set up an equation from a word problem, like 2x plus 3 equals 180, that is an idea. That is one angle equals 180. Or if you had Frodo was 2 less than Sam or whatever the shit, you are saying that he made 8 mistakes by himself. You are actually saying something in English when you write down a mathematical statement. So you got to make sure that it makes sense. If you have a rectangular pen, the biggest mistake is people only go halfway. So in your homework, you see me going, that was only halfway. Or you put all the fence on one side. So you didn't really make, it's not going to contain anything, right? Is that, do you guys understand? Okay. Well,
Let's do one of those next.
oh, okay, sure, yeah, that's a good idea. So to finish this one up, you just, what do you get when you add all these up? I know, 180, but what do you get when you add all these up? That was good. 9x, right? Because the 9 is 3 plus 3 cancels, divide by 9. And what do you know? What does this mean? Don't circle this and keep going. What does this mean? Yeah, which angle is who to what? Smallest is 20 degrees. Don't forget the units. In this case, units are degrees. If you don't put units, you will lose some points. Not much, but still something. More than 0. And I'll be a real dork and I'll put 20 corn cobs, 20,
What do you?
yeah.
So for that part that you just did right there, you're only trying to figure out x, right? You're not adding all of the other stuff together with the whole equation?
No, so I did. So if you add all these together, you do get 9x.
Oh, okay.
And then you do solve for x, but then you can build everybody else up.
Okay.
So then what's the largest angle? Yeah, it'd be 120 minus 3, 117. And what's the one angle? 43. And how do you check yourself? Check yourself. Yeah, make sure these all add to be 180. And they do. They got it. I like it. I have an answer key too, so I mean, you know, this is all the answer key. So. All right, let's do a rectangle one. These right now? Yes, it is. Hey, all right. That makes that easier. Let's see, where are you? There you are. Okay, that might work. So what's D say? Rectangular plot of land is 2 yards longer than 3 times its width. So try to set that up. Draw it, identify the players, give them all names, maybe label the picture. Is that Grant? I didn't get there. Anybody not get their some stuff back? Crystal, Nixon, Carissa, Jolene, Crystal, Ben. Jocelyn. Liam. All right, guys, let me catch up to you. So it's rectangular. That's nice. So I got the length and the width that we're talking about. It's the players. Which one's just going to be a single letter? The width. A lot of these the width is, but don't just assume it is. I could very easily say it's 7. The width is 7 less than twice the length or something. So be careful. But here, yes, the width is. And what do you want to call the width? No width. Let's do W. You can always use X if you want. And so what's the length?
3W.
Yeah, 3 times the width would be 3W. 2 longer would be plus 2, 11. W, 3W plus 2. W, 3W plus 2. If you label your picture, it reminds you that there's 4 sides. They all must be represented. So the biggest mistake is I see this, and then I get to say the thing. I say so much, I got to get a little stamp for it. You only went halfway. You only went halfway, right? If you're trying to contain something like a spider pig, and you do W and 3W plus 2, you've left these, and there's no fence there. So it's really interesting when students realize when you write an equation, it has physical consequences, right? So, of course, what I'm missing, I need another W and another 3W plus 2. There. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Thank God. A spider pig's not going to get out, bite somebody, and more spiders for the Spider-Verse. Also, and now it should be easy stuff, right? Now it should be easy stuff. How many W's you got? 8 W's plus 4. 44, subtract 4, divide by 8, 5, blah, blah, blah. What does that mean? The width is 5. Bless you. Yards. I like it. And then you can figure out the length. You know W is 5. That's why I like to call it dominoes. Once you solve this, you fall back here. Right? Yes?
We use W in order to find, because we need to find the length, right?
Yeah, W itself is the width, and then we have the length in terms of the width.
Okay.
So now that we know W, I can just plug it in to see what the length is. Yeah. And of course, here the length would be 17. 17 yards. 17 and 5 is 22. Double it, because that's only halfway. 44. Yay, it works. Okay, so it is safe. Okay.
So you do 17 plus 5 yards and then just double it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one way to do it. Or you can just say 5 plus 17 plus 5 plus 17. You do, I mean, am I doing it right? Yeah. You got 2 of each. So whatever way you want to put them back together. They got to come out to be 44. I like it. So you had a question about graphing. What about?
The y equals x plus 1.
Oh yeah, so you gotta, all right, so 2 things about graphing. 3 things about graphing. Number 1, your scale has got to be consistent. You don't have to use the same scale on the y-axis as you do the x-axis, but you can't, so 3, 6, 9, 15, 23, 49. The shit is that? This is very understanding, because then you're being misrepresentative. Something's supposed to be really high up here. Here's 3, here's 3,000, but you go 3, 3,000, 3,004, so now it looks like 3 and 3,000 are really close. And then you can like understate how much things have gotten crazier or whatever. And you're like, it's not really that much difference because your scale sucks. You'd be surprised at how often they make visuals of data and they just use bad scales and people buy into it. They're like, yeah, look at that. What do people say? Psst, learn how to graph. Okay, so this problem, y equals x plus 1. So the work I need to see, I love it that some of you guys know about slope and all that kind of shit. We're not there yet. We haven't talked about slope yet. Don't use it. We haven't talked about it yet. So what I really need to see at this level right now is just a little table. That's all. A little table. If your answer is this, no. What? You're like, I got it. I won't have any trouble scale if I don't put any scale. No, it doesn't. No, it's not good. That's shit. All right. So you have to set up a scale. So what's some good numbers to plug in here? 2. What's the output? 3. What about 0? What's the output? What about -2? What's the output? That's -2 plus 1? -1. I like it. You see that if I go down 2, this goes down 2. If I go down 2 more, this goes down 2 more. Do you see that? You have to know that right now? No. You're right. And then you plot these. But what kind of scale do I want to set up? These are nice numbers. Nobody's 30 or 78. So I can just do 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. So then I got 2, 3, 2, 3, 0, 1, 0, 1, and then -2, -1. Thank God they sort of line up, make him big. Yeah. And really, to be really, this is what I want to see. This kind of thing. Your scale is sometimes, there's one section of homework where they really throw some funky ass points at you, and the whole point of it is, can you pick a good scale? So for these questions, and this is, when they ask you to graph something, I have got to see this. I need to see your scale, I need to see some work, I need to see your points. You don't have to label your points, it's fine. Alright, I like it, maybe. Oh, before I forget, another little pet peeve. Please, dear God, put the section on top of your paper. You know what I mean? Don't just tell me the freaking page. Oh shit, tell me it's 2.3, 1 point, whatever. Just tell me the section of homework. Got a lot of homework to grade. It makes it easier if you tell me what it is I'm looking at. You know, like just turn to the page, section of it. Okay. Is that decent for the graphing thing? Anything else about, what else do we want to talk about? Yes? Number 55. Oh yeah, all right. This one I was accepting a few different ways to do it. So this is this problem here. I'm gonna just be quicker to put it up here, I think. Work with me. Where did I put that little dude? There he is. Oh yeah. Probably should turn that on. Things are so thick. Turn them on for them to work. Come on. All right. Let's see. Get in there. So is that the problem? 55, zoom in, enhance, and freeze. Can somebody turn off, the one that says whiteboard. The one that says whiteboard especially. You see the one that says whiteboard? Ah, good. All right, if you've done the homework, hopefully this looks familiar. So, there's an official kind of algebraic way to do this problem, but I was accepting other kind of ways from people that were asking me about it. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20. Right? They're not graphing it, so they can put whatever inputs they want to. But they're asking us, you can see the answer there. But they're asking us, for what level are 1,250 points required? And I don't see 1,250. But can you see the pattern to get to 1,250? Every time I go up a level, the required points go up by 70, yeah. 70. I went up by 2, didn't I? So this should go up by 140, and it does. And then I went up by 5. This should go up by 350, and it does. You guys see what I'm saying? So obviously the answer is going to be between 10 and 20. But how the shit do you do it? So you could just kind of make the table between 10 and 20 go 11, add 70, 12, add 70. But the whole purpose of this class is to become a little more sophisticated. What if it was between 100 and 200? It was somewhere, you want to do 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108. No. So how do I do this algebraically? One smart kind of way to do it is to focus on the part that I need. So I know it's between 10 and 20, right? Is everybody able to see that? Because 10 and 20 is between 8:30 and 15:30, and the question is about 12:50. Also, I know it's between 10 and 20 because I know the answer is 16, but it's not like we don't know. So watch this. This is kind of cool. So at 10, it's 8:30, right? And every time I take a level up, I add 70. You guys with me? So I could define x to be levels beyond 10. Now watch, so you ready? So therefore, if I have 8:30 and I'm at level 11, I would add 70. If I wanted level 12, 2 steps from 10, I would add twice 70. So I want to go how far past 10? I don't know. So when I add 70 x times, I don't know how many steps I want to take. Very often where you hear the word per, 70 per level, that's where the variable is going to go. Because if it was 3 levels, it'd be 70 times 3, and then you add it to 830. 4 levels, 70 times 4, okay. I don't know how many levels, okay, 70 times x, and you add it to 830, and what do we want the result to be? 1250. And then you solve that equation. Now some people, I think I saw at least one person that set up an equation from level 1. Nothing wrong with that, it's the same idea. But be careful here, we're going to get, so let's see, what do we get? 830, 70x equals 1250 minus 830 is 420, right? And then how do you go from there? Divide it by 70, and you get x is 7 into 42, 6. Is 6 the right answer? Because the whole thing was beyond 10. So 6 levels beyond 10 is level 16. I like it. That's the real algebraic way. That was definitely a funkier problem. So if you had trouble with that problem and not many of the other problems, that's a good place to be. You feel pretty good. If you had trouble with every problem except this one, that's weird. Oh, gee. Let's turn around. All right, anything else from, this could be from any homework, quiz, general shit that's never made any sense? Anything? Yes?
Section 3.1, number 60. Page 171.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll tell you this. There were a few graph this kind of questions. I'll show you how to do that. It won't be on the first test. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to make you graph stuff on the graphing calculator on this first test. I was kind of saving it for when we get to more advanced kind of stuff. But I'll just, since this question is in the homework, this kind of thing, let me unfreeze here. There we go. There's this question. Oh, God. Put it down. Forget about it. Where is it? There it is. The good old focus. It's talking about set up the viewing window using this stuff. Okay, so let's talk about that. There's another question earlier that's, I think not earlier, but it comes later. Let's do this question and then I'll show you how the windows work. Oh, where are you? It wanted you to graph in your calculator. Here we go. This section of homework here. Oh, shucks. Poor little dude. There it is. This section of homework right there. Freeze. Okay. So let's do one of these. Let's Let's do one that's more interesting. Yeah, like, what you got, Jeff? 66. X cubed minus 2. So now watch this. I know a lot of us have not used this calculator much yet, but can you see a button on there that's just screaming out, hey, this is where you go to put an equation in? Y equals, way up there, the upper left-hand corner. I got to do this because that makes an L and that's left. I'm not ashamed of that because I got too much shit in my head. Yeah. Yeah, you can do whatever you need to
And
do.
after right now, I'm gonna go to the tutoring. And I'm gonna pick
Yeah,
up
do what
the
you gotta
test.
do. It's okay. Let's see. So if you hit Y equals, I got some weird ass shit from other class. Get that out of there. You want to make sure all the other ones are clear. So if you don't have a graphing calculator right now, understandable. I'm not going to make you do this on the test. I just want to show you real quick. We're going to do a lot more stuff with the calculator after this first test. But if I wanted to graph this equation, I would put in there X. Here's my X, the variable button right there. There's the variable button. X. How do I do third power? Anybody know? Yeah, this little dude is what I call the to the button. To the, so there's to the. Third power. Now what sucks, if you have a newer calculator that actually makes the exponent go up there, you have to hit the over arrow to come back down. A lot of people, we forget to hit that. See how I'm still up in the exponent? So we hit the over arrow, over. Now I'm down, ready for the rest of the equation. Minus 2. Now what button do you think I'd push now? No way. So if I hit graph, let's see what happens. Could be some ugly shit. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's ugly shit. So watch this. It's kind of neat. The ultimate quick stop to go to first. What do you think is going on here? You can zoom in and out of your graph, and right now it's zoomed in a weird kind of way. That's what's going on right now. So obviously I want to hit that zoom button. And I want to come back to a standard window. A standard window would be from -10 to 10, -10 to 10. That's kind of like our home base for graphing. So if you hit zoom, and then you see zoom standard, number 6. Zoom 6. It'll take you back to a normal, and there's my graph. Hey, graph. One of my colleagues calls this the giraffe graph because it looks like if you put a leg here, there'd be a giraffe. And I always joke on that. So this giraffe is about to fall over. Somebody cut his front leg off for it. That's horrific. So he doesn't really like it when they do it. Too bad if you're watching. Anyway, so whatever works. Is that cool? So, but sometimes that zoom 6, it won't be there. So we have to, that's the whole thing about changing the window. If I want to look over or look up or look down, I have to know how to change the window. I'm not going to get into all that right now. That's this little window button. If you hit the window button right now, you can see the 10s and the -10s. See that? But we're going to get into working with that after this first test. Okay. Is that decent? So those questions, if you have trouble, you can't quite do them, that's fine. We'll talk more about those. Just say I tried, I have no idea. I'm like, all right. Because I didn't really talk about it. Yeah. I always forget they throw some of that in early. I'm like, gosh. Because I like to have a big graphing calculator day with a lot of stuff. And that'll be one little thing is how to deal the window. Oh, here, man. You're lucky. I remember. I already had it.
God bless.
Whoever's left already just didn't need the key. I understand. Let me give you guys the key before I lose any more of you. What's that? Oh, there you go. Yeah. Works out. So guys, this is our first practice test. So let me tell you something. If you don't try the practice test out at all, don't even look at this. Right? So what happens is somebody will get the answer key, and what you'll do is you'll just kind of stare at it and say, oh yeah. Yep. I would have done that. And then you're building up false confidence.
You have it without the answer?
No, sorry. I'd sent it out in an email. I printed some out in my office, so I do have some sitting in there if you want to come afterwards. But otherwise, I send it out in an email. Yeah. So yeah, don't do that. Try the practice test out, and then check it, and then anything you really did bad on, go back to that section, get some more practice. That's how this should work. Don't do these questions more than like twice, because then you'll know that question really well. I ain't going to put any of these questions on the test. Right? I do know some of my colleagues use the same frickin' practice test questions that are on your practice test. You got to stop that shit. So, if you got used to that, if you have anybody like that, they suck at their job, they stop. Because what's important is the idea. Not, do you remember how to do this equation, but do you know how to do any equation? You with me?
Yes.
A little bit? Okay. All right. I think I did all these. So again, number 11, those rates won't be on this test. So let me know if you have any questions or if I did any wrong. Yes? Office hours are like right before class. Monday, Tuesday, I'm 10:30 to 11. And also right before my 7 a.m. class. I don't think I'd see a lot of you guys at 6:30 in my office. And then Wednesday, Thursday, I'm in the office 9:15 to 11, basically.
Okay.
So that's really the time. That's why I try to schedule the test for Wednesdays or Thursdays, because they have that big block of office hours. Yeah. So yes, I will be in the office tomorrow for almost a couple hours before class. So come there with questions for the test. You don't have to sit there. You can leave, Steve. If you got more questions, just let me know. Did you do like more than you had to? Alright, that's fine.
I just wanted to tell you what time you got because I'm
Gotcha. So, okay, as long as you realize I didn't actually assign that much homework.
I was
Okay.
after a couple. I was like, dude, why is this so much? And then I looked and I'm like, oh my god.
I understand.
Yeah, would you
What?
I don't mind. I just need to if you have it.
Oh, like a copy of quiz, blank copy of quiz 2. Maybe. Where's my book? Oh, yeah. Looks like no.
Oh, wait, there is worse, bro.
No, sorry, buddy. I didn't bring it with me.
Oh, it sucks.
Right here.